I was friends with a magpie once. It began when I found an injured bird on my porch. I think it had flown into my window at high speed, bounced off, and then just lay there. I fed it worms that I dug up from the lawn. During the first few days, it had no strength to drink or eat by itself. I dropped water from a teaspoon into its open beak and tempted it with worms. Weeks went by. The magpie perked up, began stepping around on the porch, and fluttered off a little to try its wings. Eventually, the day came when it flew away. It returned the very next day. This time, it had a small gift with it. The magpie placed a beautiful maple leaf on the windowsill. It's the thought that counts, so I thanked it with a homemade meatball. The magpie appreciated the meatball and came back the very next day with another leaf. It became a little tradition just between the magpie and me. Every day the magpie brought me a small gift in its beak, and I thanked it with a small treat from the kitchen. The magpie gave me both small stones, pine cones, and berries. One day, the magpie landed on my hand as usual. In its beak, it carried a gold ring. Magpies love things that shine. I thought it had stolen it from some neighbor who had left it unattended. The magpie dropped the ring into my hand. It was a plain gold ring. I looked inside to see if it had an inscription. Cicely and Frank 13/27, 2023, it said inside the ring. That was strange. Last I checked, the year still had only 12 months. I took out a magnifying glass and checked again. It really did say 13/27. Where did you get this from? I asked the magpie. The magpie tilted its head and fluttered its wings absent-mindedly. No help there. I thoughtfully placed the ring in my wallet. I didn't know any Cicely and I didn't know any Frank. But my mother had once told me that Cicely was one of her favorite names. In another life, I might have been named Cicely. The magpie flew to the fence and waited there. I went into the kitchen and fetched a piece of ham. The magpie appreciated its gift and flew off with the ham in its beak. The next day, I received another gift from the magpie. This time it was a small hazelnut. But when I looked more closely at the nut, I saw a strange symmetrical pattern covering its entire surface. The pattern resembled a mandala. I dismissed it as a quirk of nature and rewarded the magpie with a meatball. The magpie remained perched on my hand and ate up the meatball. It seemed tired, as if it had flown a very long way. The following day, the magpie didn't show up. It didn't come back. That had never happened before. The next day I was truly worried. I paced back and forth, searching for the magpie. The sun had set, and the stars were beginning to appear in the sky. I sat on the porch under a blanket and waited. I waited so long that I dozed off. When I woke up, it was dark, but the full moon lit up the porch. The magpie sat on the armrest with a leaf in its beak. I carefully took the leaf from the magpie's beak. It looked exhausted. I gave it a piece of dried meat that I had in my pocket. The leaf was heart-shaped, like a linden leaf. There was something written on it. I held it up in the moonlight and read. I'm here, where are you? Frank. Where do you think the magpie has been?